A couple of weeks ago on Ignition, we were discussing classic cars, buying classic cars, how you decide what to buy, and more importantly, spotting the future classics. This car that we're testing this week, the Honda S2000, is most certainly a future classic, especially because June 2009 will be its final month in production.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The S2000 is like Sean Connery. It only seems to have gained more charm and charisma as its age, and frequently flies under the radar as the obvious choice. Even though I'm not a big fan of it in a red dress, it's certainly a looker. Roof up or down, it's easy to see why the S2000 has sold more than 110,000 units in its decade on Earth.
What makes the Honda S2000 so unique compared to other sports cars available is that it is so rough and ready inside, apart from the rough and ready drive. Everything is just so basic and it already feels like a classic. It has none of the refinement of other sports cars that are available. For instance, your radio controls are up here and they just channel, mute and up and down, that's it. Your actual radio sits tucked away over there, and that's all you have in terms of a console. There's no fancy buttons and 10,000 settings to play with. That's it. You can't even adjust the height of your seat. It's just forward and back. It's just so plain and simple, and I love it.
You can feel a bit claustrophobic in the Honda, but lucky for me, it's just right as a snug fit. It does take a while to get used to, but let's face it, comfort's not really the aim. The S2000 is purely about the thrill.
Now, you'll remember when we were driving the Honda Civic Type R, Marius was complaining that you have to really wring its neck to get the most out of it. Well, I disagreed with him, but having said that, the same is true for this car. The Honda S2000 has 177 kilowatts, which is phenomenal for a 2-litre normally aspirated engine. And you really do need to plant your foot to get to the 8,300 revs at which that 177 becomes available. It's got 280 Newton meters of torque. Unbelievable, this car.
Honda's coined an interesting philosophy around the S2000. It's called Man Maximum Machine Minimum. Now, in essence, it's a reference to the complete oneness that you feel when driving it. A special relationship between you and this hunk of amazing machinery. The 2-litre VTEC is still regarded as legendary, not least of which for that high-revving music it emits. At its launch, it was considered the world's most powerful naturally aspirated power plant, and not much has changed. It does the 0 to 100 dash in just 6.2 seconds. Still no turbos or superchargers to help it get there, just an award-winning lump that you don't want to let go of.
But this is all Marius speak. Let's face it, I don't drive like he does. I don't need to plant it to 8,300 revs to get the most out of this car. And driving it within my limits at normal driving speed on normal roads, I think it's a fabulous car because it really is a driver's car. You feel like you're a racer even if you're not going to 8,300 revs. That is because of this fabulously notchy gear stick, which is very, very short and very precise and direct.
Anyone buying a Honda S2000 will not be doing so because they want to pose. They're doing it because they know that once you get it up past 8,000 revs, it turns into a beast. It's one of the love it or hate it aspects of Honda's VTEC engines, that if you're a wannabe racer, you'll be frustrated that when you put your foot down, you get nothing until you hear that engine screaming under the hood. Then it kicks in and you find yourself in the cockpit of a very involving drive.
Also, you sit really low in the car and the suspension is hard and you feel the speed, you really, really feel the speed. So you can be driving at 80 and it feels like you're doing 120, and that is what I really, really love about this car. When this car came out, they had a lot of fun with it, that's for sure, but they also got into a bit of trouble with it because it can lose the back end, but they have improved that.
In fact, there have been a few changes to the S2000 since it debuted in 1999. The interior and suspension got a tweak in 2002, then it was the chassis that got a seeing to, making the Honda more rigid on the road with more responsive steering. ABS got a look in then, as well as the exterior, which got a minor overhaul, but the big update was in 2006. Honda introduced an advanced drive-by-wire throttle system and added VSA, or Vehicle Stability Assist. This, you'll find if you ever drive an S2000 on the track, is a most welcome addition.
I should have known not to have done my hair with an open-top car, but hell, this car rocks.